Judge Kim recovered first. Mrs. Kang, this is highly irregular. If you're claiming paternity. I'm not claiming anything, Seo-yun interrupted calmly. The baby shifted in her arms. The sound cut through the courtroom like a blade. I'm stating a fact. DNA testing will confirm it. I'm here to file for full custody, child support, and to finalize this divorce on terms that protect my son. Silence. Jae-won finally found his voice. It came out rougher than he intended. What are you doing? Seo-yun met his eyes. She didn't flinch. I'm doing what you taught me, Jae-won, she said evenly. I'm protecting what's mine. She turned back to the bench. Your Honor, my attorney will be filing an emergency motion for temporary custody and support. All documentation is prepared. And for the first time in his life, Kang Jae-won realized he had already lost. Before we begin, if you're still here, it means this story already pulled you in. And if you stay without subscribing, this story will keep going without you knowing when the next chapter drops. So don't disappear like most people do. Hit subscribe now. And stay for what comes next. Now, let's continue. Chapter 1. The Courtroom. The courthouse in Gangnam smelled like marble and old wood polish. Kang Jae-won sat at the defendant's table, his brioni suit sharp enough to cut glass, his posture military straight despite the cameras documenting his humiliation. His lawyer shuffled papers beside him, unnecessary movement, nervous energy. Jae-won didn't move at all. The press gallery was packed. Reporters, bloggers, a sketch artist from one of the major networks. Everyone wanted to witness the fall of Korea's most untouchable man. Kang Jae-won, 34 years old. Head of the Kangpa Syndicate. The man who controlled half of Seoul's underground economy, from shipping ports to nightclub districts. The man prosecutors had chased for a decade without landing a single charge. And today, divorcing husband. The irony wasn't lost on him. They couldn't put him in prison, so the system would destroy him another way. Public humiliation. The dissolution of his marriage broadcast like a reality show. Judge Kim Se-jin cleared her throat from the bench. She was in her 50s, severe, known for running her courtroom like a military operation. We'll proceed with the dissolution of marriage between Kang Jae-won and Han Seo-yun, she announced. The petitioner filed for divorce on grounds of irreconcilable differences. Mrs. Kang was served notice 6 months ago and has failed to appear for 3 scheduled hearings. Jae-won's lawyer stood. Your Honor, we request to proceed in absentia. Mrs. Kang has clearly abandoned. The heavy wooden doors at the back of the courtroom opened. The sound cut through the room like a gunshot. Every head turned. Cameras swiveled. The sketch artist's charcoal froze mid-stroke. Jae-won didn't turn. Not yet. But he felt it, that shift in atmospheric pressure, that electric charge that happens when the entire trajectory of your life pivots on a single moment. Han Seo-yun stood in the doorway. She looked different. Thinner, but stronger somehow. Her hair was pulled back in a simple bun. No makeup except a touch of color on her lips. She wore a black dress that hung loose on her frame, nothing designer, nothing meant to impress. And in her arms, wrapped in a white cotton blanket, was a newborn baby. The courtroom erupted. Camera shutters fired like automatic weapons. Reporters surged forward. Someone shouted a question. Judge Kim slammed her gavel 3 times, the cracks echoing like gunfire. Order. I will have order or I will clear this courtroom. But Jae-won heard none of it. His eyes were locked on the infant in Seo-yun's arms. Dark hair, thick and black. Skin the color of cream. And when the baby turned its head, just slightly, Jae-won saw the shape of the nose, the set of the eyes. His chest constricted. The room tilted 15 degrees. Seo-yun walked down the center aisle. Her footsteps were measured, controlled, like she'd practiced this entrance 1,000 times in front of a mirror. She didn't look at the cameras. Didn't acknowledge the chaos. She walked with the kind of calm that only comes from having already survived the worst thing you can imagine. She stopped 6 feet from Jae-won's table. Their eyes met for the first time in 6 months. Hers were clear, steady, completely unafraid. His betrayed nothing, but inside, something fundamental was breaking apart. This is your son, she said. Her voice carried across the silent courtroom. His name is Kang Minute Jae. He was born 3 months ago. You are his father. The silence that followed was absolute. Judge Kim recovered first. Mrs. Kang, this is highly irregular. If you're claiming paternity. I'm not claiming anything, Seo-yun interrupted calmly. I'm stating a fact. DNA testing will confirm it. I'm here to file for full custody, child support, and to finalize this divorce on terms that protect my son. Jae-won finally found his voice. It came out rougher than he intended. What are you doing? Seo-yun looked at him directly. I'm doing what you taught me, Jae-won. I'm protecting what's mine. She turned to Judge Kim. Your Honor, my attorney will be filing an emergency motion for temporary custody and support. I have all the necessary documentation. A man in his 60s stepped forward from the back of the room, attorney Lee Sang-woo, one of the best family lawyers in Seoul. Jae-won recognized him immediately. This wasn't spontaneous. This was planned, calculated, executed with precision. Seo-yun had just walked into his world and detonated a bomb he never saw coming. Judge Kim called a recess, ordered both parties and their lawyers into chambers. The press was forcibly removed, still shouting questions. In the hallway, Jae-won's lawyer grabbed his arm. We need to talk. Now. But Jae-won was watching Seo-yun disappear into a side room with her attorney and the baby. For the first time in his life, Kang Jae-won, the man who always knew the next 3 moves before his opponent made their first, had absolutely no idea what to do. The baby's cry echoed down the marble hallway. Jae-won's hand tightened on his briefcase handle. Inside chambers, Judge Kim wasted no time. Mr. Kang, are you claiming this child is not yours? Jae-won looked at Seo-yun across the table. She was nursing the baby under a blanket, her face serene. I don't know, he said finally. I didn't know she was pregnant. Because you never asked, Seo-yun said quietly. Because you filed for divorce and never looked back. DNA test, his lawyer interjected. Immediate. Before we discuss anything else. Attorney Lee produced a document. Already arranged. The test will be administered this afternoon. Results in 48 hours. Judge Kim nodded. Until then, Mrs. Kang retains physical custody. Mr. Kang, you're entitled to supervised visitation pending results. No, Seo-yun said. Everyone looked at her. Not until the results are confirmed, she continued. I won't expose my son to uncertainty. Jae-won's voice was ice. You don't get to keep my son from me. Watch me, she replied, meeting his gaze without flinching. The baby, Minute J, made a small sound. Seo-yun adjusted him automatically, her movements practiced and competent. The motion hit Jae-won harder than any weapon ever had. She'd been doing this alone. For 3 months. While he'd been running his empire, she'd been raising his son. 2 days, Judge Kim ruled. Results come back, we reconvene. Mrs. Kang, you'll provide contact information to the court. Mr. Kang, you'll submit to DNA testing today. This hearing is adjourned. Outside, the media circus had multiplied. News vans lined the street. Jae-won's security team pushed through the crowd, shoving cameras aside. He caught one more glimpse of Seo-yun being escorted to a separate exit, the baby's blanket visible over her shoulder. Then she was gone. In the car, Jae-won's consigliere, Park Tae-sung, made 3 phone calls in rapid succession, each one quieter and more urgent than the last. The board is convening an emergency meeting, Tae-sung said, hanging up. They're panicking. Let them panic. A hidden heir destabilizes everything. Every territory agreement we have assumes no succession complications. If that child is yours, he's mine. Tae-sung went quiet. You're sure? Jae-won stared out the window at Seoul passing by in a blur of neon and concrete. I'm sure. Then we have a serious problem. No, Jae-won said softly. I have a son. That night, alone in his penthouse 40 stories above the city, Jae-won stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows and tried to remember the last time he'd touched his wife. It had been a year. Maybe longer. They'd stopped sharing a bedroom after the first year of marriage. Stopped talking after the second. By the 3rd year, They were strangers who happened to live in the same 10,000 square foot space. He told himself it was better that way. Cleaner. No messy emotions. No complications. Seo-yun had been a strategic marriage. The daughter of a respectable professor, educated, fluent in 3 languages, beautiful enough to photograph well at corporate events. His family had approved. The marriage had solidified certain political alliances. It had served its purpose. Or so he'd thought. Now he couldn't remember why he'd filed for divorce. Something about her wanting things he couldn't give. Love. Attention. A husband who came home. He'd been building an empire. Expanding operations. Consolidating power. There wasn't time for domestic theatre. So he'd cut her loose. And she disappeared without a fight, which had only confirmed his assessment. She was too weak for his world. Better to let her go find some accountant or professor who'd give her the boring suburban life she wanted. Except she hadn't wanted that at all. She'd wanted him. The real him, not the title or the money. And when he'd made it clear that man didn't exist anymore, she'd vanished. Pregnant. Alone. Protecting his child from him. Jaiwon's phone buzzed. A message from Tai-sung. DNA appointment scheduled for 9 a.m. Clean clinic. Discreet. He didn't respond. Instead, he opened a drawer in his desk and pulled out the only photo he'd kept of Seo-yun. Their wedding day. She was smiling at the camera. He was looking slightly to the left, probably at someone in the crowd. Even on their wedding day, he hadn't been looking at her. He studied her face in the photograph. Tried to find the woman who'd walked into that courtroom today. Stronger. Harder. Unbreakable. Where had she found that strength? And why hadn't he seen it when they were married? His phone rang. His mother. He let it go to voicemail. She called again. On the 3rd call, he answered. Is it true? Chairman Kang Eun-ji's voice was clipped, furious. Do you have a son? DNA test tomorrow. Results in 2 days. This is unacceptable. If that woman thinks she can. She's not that woman, mother. She's Seo-yun. And if that child is mine, you'll treat them both with respect. Silence. Then, we need to discuss custody. Lawyers. Strategy. No. Jaiwon. I said no. Stay out of this. He hung up. Set the phone face down on the desk. Looked back at the photograph. This is your son. The words echoed. His name is Kang Min-jae. A name. An identity. A human being who existed because of a single night 14 months ago when Jaiwon had come home late from a negotiation, found Seo-yun still awake reading, and for reasons he couldn't articulate, had wanted her. One night. No tenderness. No words after. And now a child. His child. The weight of it settled in his chest like stones. Across the city, in a small hotel room near Hongdae, Seo-yun fed Min-jae and tried not to think about the look on Jaiwon's face when he'd seen the baby. She'd expected anger. Accusations. Legal threats. Not that flash of, what? Recognition? Grief? It didn't matter. She couldn't afford to care what Kang Jaiwon felt. Min-jae finished eating, his eyes closing, milk-drunk and peaceful. She burped him, changed him, laid him in the portable crib attorney Lee had helped her set up. Sleep, little one, she whispered. Tomorrow changes everything. She wasn't wrong. Chapter 2, Blood Doesn't Lie. The DNA results arrived by courier at precisely 9:47 a.m. on Wednesday. Jaiwon was in a board meeting when Tai-sung knocked, entered without waiting for permission, and handed him the envelope. Gentlemen, Jaiwon said, standing. We are done. We haven't finished the quarterly. We are done. He walked out. Tai-sung followed. In his private office, Jaiwon opened the envelope with steady hands. The document was clinical. Precise. Unambiguous. Probability of paternity, 99.9997%. Kang Jaiwon is the biological father of Kang Min-jae. He read it 3 times. Tai-sung watched from the doorway. Boss. He's mine. I know. I got the courtesy call 20 minutes ago. Jaiwon set the paper down carefully, like it might detonate. Seo-yun has the results too, Her lawyer does. They're filing the custody motion today. What are they asking for? Tai-sung consulted his phone. Full physical custody. Supervised visitation for you. Child support at statutory maximum. Restraining order against your mother. Smart. You're not angry. Jaewon looked at his consigliere. Would it change anything? No. Then no. I'm not angry. He was something else. Something he didn't have a name for. The syndicate heads are requesting a meeting, Tai-sung said carefully. They're concerned. A legitimate heir complicates succession planning. Some are wondering if you're compromised. Let them wonder. Jaewon. Schedule the meeting. But not yet. First, I need to see my son. The supervised visitation happened at a family center in Mapo-gu. Neutral territory. Beige walls. Cheap furniture. A social worker named Mrs. Choi who explained the rules with the tone of someone who'd seen everything and believed in nothing. Seo-yun arrived 15 minutes early. Minute Jae was awake, alert, dressed in a simple blue onesie. Jaewon arrived exactly on time. He'd chosen his appearance carefully. Dark jeans, black sweater, nothing that screamed wealth or power. He wanted to look like a man, not a title. Seo-yun watched him enter. Felt her pulse spike despite herself. He looked tired. Shadows under his eyes. Had he slept? Why did she care? She didn't. She couldn't. Mr. Kang, Mrs. Choi said. Please, sit. Jaewon sat across from Seo-yun. The space between them felt like a demilitarized zone. Minute Jae made a sound. Jaewon's eyes dropped to the baby. Stayed there. Would you like to hold him? Mrs. Choi asked. I don't know how. The admission surprised them all, including Jaewon himself. Seo-yun almost smiled. I'll show you. She stood, cradling Minute Jae against her shoulder. Moved to sit beside Jaewon. This close, she could smell his cologne. The same one he'd worn throughout their marriage. The scent's memory hit her hard. Late nights waiting for him, the scent of it on his jacket when he finally came home. She pushed the feeling down. Support his head, she instructed, positioning Jaewon's arms. Like this. Cradle him against your chest. She transferred Minute Jae into his father's arms. Jaewon went absolutely still. The baby squirmed once, then settled, his small fist curling into Jaewon's sweater. He's so light, Jaewon whispered. 3 months old. 15 pounds. He looks like me. Yes. But he has your eyes. The shape. Seo-yun hadn't expected him to notice details. He does. They sat in silence. Mrs. Choi pretended to read her tablet, giving them space. Minute Jae yawned. Made a small, satisfied sound. What does he like? Jaewon asked suddenly. Like? What makes him happy? What does he do? Seo-yun felt something crack in her chest. He likes music. I sing to him. He calms down when I run water from the tap. The sound fascinates him. He hates being too warm. He sleeps better if I'm close. He's starting to track objects with his eyes. Last week he smiled at me for the first time. A real smile, not gas. Jaewon absorbed each detail like he was memorizing military intelligence. I missed all of that, he said quietly. Yes. Because you didn't tell me. Because you filed for divorce and made it clear I was disposable. The words were factual, not accusatory. That made them hit harder. Jaewon looked down at Minute Jae. I would have. What? Taken him? Used him to maintain your image? Turned him into a weapon in our divorce? Protected him? From what? You are the danger, Jaewon. He couldn't argue with that. Minute Jae started to fuss. Seo-yun reached over, adjusted the blanket. Their hands brushed. Both pulled back. He's hungry, she said. How do you know? The way he's moving. It's time. She took Minute Jae back, settled him against her, prepared to nurse under a blanket. Jaewon stood. I'll step out. You don't have to. Yes, he said. I do. He left the room. Mrs. Choi watched him go. That's a man who's never changed a diaper. No, Seo-yeon agreed. But maybe he will. In the hallway, Jae-won leaned against the wall and tried to remember how to breathe. The weight of that small body in his arms. The absolute trust in those dark eyes. The vulnerability. He'd held weapons. Negotiated million-dollar deals. Stared down men who'd killed for less than a perceived slight. But holding his son? That terrified him. Because weapons could be controlled. Deals could be managed. Men could be read. But that baby? That tiny human who depended entirely on the people around him? Jae-won had no idea how to protect something that fragile without destroying it. Tae-sung called. He ignored it. Called again. What? The meeting is set. Tomorrow night. Every head of house will be there. Fine. What are you going to tell them? The truth. Which is? Jae-won watched through the observation window as Seo-yeon fed their son. She looked exhausted. Beautiful. Completely out of his reach. That I have a son. And anyone who has a problem with that can challenge me directly. Tae-sung exhaled. You know what they'll say. A child is a weakness. Leverage. Then I'll eliminate anyone who tries to use him. You can't kill everyone, Jae-won. Watch me. He hung up. Mrs. Choi appeared. You can come back in now. Jae-won returned to find Minute Jae asleep in Seo-yeon's arms. Can I hold him again? He asked. She hesitated, then nodded. This time, the transfer was easier. Jae-won positioned his arms correctly. Minute Jae barely stirred. He's already asleep, Jae-won marveled. He trusts you. He doesn't know me. He knows your heartbeat, Seo-yeon said quietly. He heard it before he was born. The thought stopped Jae-won cold. Before Minute Jae was born, Seo-yeon had been pregnant. Carrying him. While Jae-won was filing for divorce. Moving his mistress into a hotel near the office. Pretending his marriage had never mattered. I'm sorry, he said. Seo-yeon stiffened. Don't. I mean it. I don't care if you mean it. Sorry doesn't change anything. Then what do I do? She looked at him directly. You show up. Consistently. You learn. You prove that you're not the man who threw me away. And if I prove that, then maybe, you get to be his father. I already am his father. Biologically, she corrected. But being a father isn't about DNA. It's about every 3 a.m. feeding. Every diaper. Every doctor's appointment. Every night when he's sick and screaming and you don't know what's wrong. That's being a father. Can you do that? Jae-won looked down at the sleeping infant in his arms. I don't know, he admitted. But I want to learn. For the first time since the courtroom, Seo-yeon's expression softened. Then we'll see. The visitation lasted 2 hours. By the end, Jae-won had held Minute Jae 3 separate times, watched Seo-yeon change a diaper and tried to memorize the steps, and asked 17 questions about feeding schedules, sleep patterns, and developmental milestones. Mrs. Choi took notes the entire time. When time was up, Seo-yeon gathered Minute Jae and the overstuffed diaper bag that seemed to contain an entire pharmacy. Jae-won walked them to the parking lot. Next week, he asked. If you complete the parenting class registration. Already done. She paused. You registered. This morning. That was fast. I don't waste time when I know what I want. Seo-yeon buckled Minute Jae into a car seat that had seen better days. The whole vehicle, a 10-year-old Honda, was a far cry from the luxury cars in Jae-won's garage. You need a better car, he said. That's not safe. It passed inspection. I'll buy you. No, Seo-yeon. I said no. I don't need your money. I need you to show up next Saturday and prove you can hold a bottle without shaking. He stepped back. Understood. She got in the driver's seat. Started the engine. Through the window, he said, Thank you. For letting me see him. I'm not doing it for you. I know. She drove away. Jaiwon watched until the taillights disappeared around the corner. Tai-sung pulled up in the Maybach. How was it? Jaiwon got in. He has her eyes. That's not what I asked. I know. They drove back toward Gangnam in silence. Finally, Tai-sung said, You're really doing this? The parenting classes. The visitation. Yes. The organization won't like it. The organization doesn't get a vote. They'll see it as weakness. Jaiwon looked out at Seoul streaming past. Then they'll challenge me. And I'll remind them why they don't challenge me. And if they go after the child. The temperature in the car dropped 10 degrees. Then I'll burn their entire bloodline to ash, Jaiwon said quietly. And salt the earth where their families stood. Tai-sung nodded slowly. I'll spread the word. Do that. At a red light, Tai-sung glanced over. Can I ask you something? What? Do you love her? Who? Seo-yun. Jaiwon was quiet for a long time. I don't know, he finally said. I don't know if I remember how. Then why are you doing this? Jaiwon thought about Minute J's weight in his arms. The absolute trust. The way Seo-yun had looked at him. Not with love, not anymore, but with something more dangerous. Hope. The cautious, fragile kind. Because for the first time in my life, Jaiwon said, I have something worth being better for. The light turned green. They drove forward. Chapter 3. The Price of Proximity. The parenting class met every Tuesday night in a community center in Yongsan. Jaiwon arrived in jeans and a baseball cap, trying to be inconspicuous. It lasted exactly 4 minutes before someone recognized him. The instructor, a cheerful woman in her 40s named Ms. Park, introduced herself and then announced, We don't care who you are or what you do outside this room. Inside here, you're all just parents trying to learn. Understood? The class nodded. She looked directly at Jaiwon. That means you too, Mr. Kang. He inclined his head. Understood. The other parents, mostly young fathers, a few grandfathers stepping in, relaxed slightly. They learned diaper changing on dolls. Swaddling techniques. How to hold a bottle. Burping methods. The warning signs of various infant illnesses. Jaiwon took notes like he was planning a military campaign. After the third class, Ms. Park pulled him aside. You're doing well, she said. I'm taking notes. Most of the men here do that the first week, then stop. You're still writing everything down. I don't want to miss anything. She studied him with the kind of perception that made Jaiwon uncomfortable. Can I give you some unsolicited advice? If you must. Your son doesn't need perfect. He needs present. Stop trying to memeize everything and just be there. I don't know how to do that. Nobody does, she said gently. That's the secret. We are all just figuring it out. Saturday visitation became routine. Week 2, Jaiwon arrived with a folder full of notes from the parenting class. Seo-yun found it oddly endearing, though she'd die before admitting it. Week 3, he successfully changed a diaper. Minute J peed on him mid-change. Seo-yun laughed, actually laughed, and the sound made something in Jaiwon's chest ache. Week 4, Minute J cried the entire 2 hours. Jaiwon walked him, bounced him, tried everything from the parenting class. Nothing worked. He handed the baby back to Seo-yun in defeat. She hummed a specific melody, something Jaiwon didn't recognize, and Minute J calmed immediately. It's a folk song, she explained. My mother used to sing it. Teach me. She did. Jaiwon's singing voice was terrible, but Minute J didn't seem to care. Week 6, the supervision requirement was dropped. Jaiwon had passed every parenting benchmark. His therapist, court-mandated, Dr. Yoon, a stern woman who took no prisoners, had submitted a glowing report. Congratulations, Mrs. Choi said. You're approved for unsupervised visits. Seo-yun still insisted on being present. He's too young, she explained. He needs me. Jaiwon didn't argue. Truthfully, he wanted her there anyway. Week 8, the incident. Jaiwon arrived at the visitation center to find Seo-yun pale, shaking. Minute J screaming. What's wrong? I don't know. He won't stop crying. He's been like this for an hour. I think something's wrong. Jaiwon checked the baby's temperature with the forehead thermometer he now carried. 104.2. That's too high. I know. Hospital. Now. I don't have my car. Forget the car. I'm driving. He had her in the Maybach before she could protest. Tae-sung, who'd been waiting in the parking lot, immediately called ahead to Seoul National University Hospital's emergency department. VIP in trance, he told the dispatcher. Infant. High fever. In the back seat, Seo-yeon held Minute J, trying to soothe him. Jaiwon sat beside her, one hand on her shoulder without thinking. He'll be okay, he said. You don't know that. He'll be okay. At the hospital, they were rushed through intake. A pediatrician, young, competent, calm, examined Minute J while Seo-yeon answered questions. Jaiwon stood against the wall, watching, useless. Blood draw. Urine sample. Minute J's screams tore through him. It's a urinary tract infection, the doctor finally announced. Serious, but treatable. We'll start 4 antibiotics. He'll need to stay overnight. Whatever he needs, Jaiwon said immediately. They were moved to a private room. Minute J, small in the hospital crib, and 4 taped to his tiny hand. Seo-yeon sat beside him, holding his other hand, silent tears running down her face. I should have known sooner, she whispered. I should have. You brought him as soon as you knew something was wrong, Jaiwon said. That's what matters. I'm his mother. I'm supposed to protect him. You are protecting him. You're here. She finally looked at him. Why are you still here? Where else would I be? The question seemed to surprise her. You have an empire to run. It can wait. Jaiwon. It can wait, he repeated firmly. My son is in the hospital. Nothing is more important than that. Something shifted in her expression. Not forgiveness, not yet. But recognition. Okay, she said quietly. They sat together as the hours passed. Took turns holding Minute J when he fussed. A nurse brought terrible coffee. Jaiwon drank it anyway. At 2 a.m., Seo-yeon fell asleep in the chair, her head at an awkward angle. Jaiwon found a blanket, draped it over her shoulders. Sat down on the floor beside Minute J's crib. Watched his son sleep, the 4 dripping steadily, the monitors beeping their reassuring rhythm. I'm here, he whispered. I'm right here. Morning came. Minute J's fever broke. By noon, he was smiling again. By evening, they were discharged with antibiotics and strict instructions. Jaiwon drove them home, not to the hotel, but to Seo-yeon's new apartment. The one she'd rented with the divorce settlement money. It was small. Clean. Nothing like the penthouse they'd shared during their marriage. You don't have to come up, she said. I'm carrying the diaper bag. It weighs more than he does. She almost smiled. Inside, the apartment was sparsely furnished but warm. Baby gear everywhere. A makeshift nursery in the corner of the bedroom. Jaiwon set down the diaper bag. Watched Seo-yeon put Minute J in his crib. Thank you, she said. For today. For. She gestured vaguely. Everything. You don't need to thank me. I do, actually. You didn't have to stay. Yes, he said simply. I did. They stood in the small living room, the space between them charged with things unsaid. I should go, Jaiwon finally said. Right. Yes. He moved toward the door. Stopped. Seo-yeon. Yes? If something like this happens again, anything, you call me first. Not your parents, not your lawyer. Me. Jaiwon. Please. The word surprised them both. She nodded slowly. Okay. He left before he could say something stupid. In the car, Tae-sung was waiting. How is he? Better. Antibiotics are working. Good. Tae-sung pulled into traffic. We have a problem. What kind? The Lee family is making moves. Testing boundaries. They think the baby makes you vulnerable. Jaiwon's expression went cold. Do they? They've been asking questions. About Seo-yeon. Where she lives. What her schedule is. Send a message. What kind? The kind that ends with bodies if they keep asking. Tae-sung nodded. Consider it done. They drove in silence for several blocks. Then Tae-sung said carefully, You're in love with her. Don't. You are. Still. Maybe more than before. It doesn't matter. Why not? Because she'll never forgive me. And I don't blame her. People surprise you. Jaiwon thought about Seo-yeon's face in the hospital. The way she'd looked at him when he said he'd stay. Maybe, he admitted. But I can't hope for that. I can only be what Minute J needs. Which is a father who shows up. Chapter 4. Proximity breeds danger. The attack came 3 weeks later, on a Tuesday. Seo-yeon was walking back from the market, Minute J strapped to her chest in a carrier, grocery bags in both hands. She noticed the black car following her at the second intersection. Training kicked in, muscle memory from the marriage, when Jaiwon had insisted she learn basic security awareness. She turned down a busier street. The car followed. Her phone was in her bag. She couldn't reach it without putting down the groceries, and she refused to be that vulnerable in public. 2 more blocks. Her apartment building was visible. The car accelerated. Pulled alongside. The window rolled down. Mrs. Kang, a man's voice. Get in the car. She kept walking. I said get in the. She ran. Not toward her apartment, too predictable. Toward the convenience store on the corner, where she knew the owner kept a baseball bat under the counter. The car doors opened behind her. She burst into the store. Call the police, she shouted to the startled clerk. Men following me. Black sedan outside. Now. The clerk grabbed his phone. Seo-yeon moved to the back of the store, shielding Minute J with her body. The men entered. 2 of them. Expensive suits. Dead eyes. We just want to talk, one said. About what? Your husband's business interests. Ex-husband. And I know nothing about his business. Your son is leverage. Her blood went cold. Touch him and you die. The man smiled. Brave words. Not bravery. Fact. Sirens in the distance. The men heard them too. Exchanged looks. Tell Kang Jaiwon, the first man said, that his family is not untouchable. They left. The police arrived 4 minutes later. Took statements. Reviewed security footage. Dispatched units to look for the vehicle. Seo-yeon called her lawyer. Then, hand shaking, she called Jaiwon. He answered on the first ring. What's wrong? How did you? You never call me. What's wrong? She told him. Her voice stayed mostly steady until she got to the part about leverage. Then it cracked. Where are you? Convenience store on Dosendero. Stay there. I'm 10 minutes away. Jaiwon, the police are here. I'm still coming. He was there in 7 minutes. Seo-yeon saw the Maybach pull up outside, Jaiwon emerging before the car fully stopped. He entered the store like a force of nature, his eyes scanning for threats until they found her. Are you hurt? No. Minute J. He's fine. He slept through it. Jaiwon's jaw clenched. He turned to the police officers. Do you have the vehicle description? They showed him the security footage. He watched once. I know this car. It belongs to the Lee family. We'll follow up, the senior officer said. Don't bother. I'll handle it. Sir, vigilante justice is. Not vigilantism, Jaiwon interrupted calmly. Business. Outside, Seo-yeon buckled Minute J into the car seat Jaiwon had apparently had installed in the Maybach. When had he done that? You're coming with me, he said. Where? Somewhere safe. My apartment is compromised. They know where you live. You're not going back there until this is resolved. Jaiwon, I can't just. Seo-yun. He looked at her directly. They threatened our son. I don't care about the divorce. I don't care about the past. Right now, you and Minute J are targets because of me. That means you're under my protection. Non-negotiable. She wanted to argue. But Minute J made a small sound and she realized. He was right. Okay, she said quietly. But just until it's safe. Agreed. The penthouse was exactly as she remembered. 40 stories up. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Minimalist furniture. No warmth anywhere. Except now there was a nursery. Seo-yun stopped in the doorway, staring. A full crib. Changing table. Rocking chair. Shelves of diapers. Wipes. Clothes in every size. A mobile with stars and moons. Everything color-coordinated in soft grays and whites. When did you do this? She asked. Last week. Why? In case of emergency. I wanted him to have a safe place here. She turned to look at him. You thought someone would come after us. I'm always thinking someone will come after what I care about. It's how I stay alive. The admission, what I care about, hung in the air between them. The guest room is ready, he said, moving past the moment. You'll have privacy. I won't disturb you. Where will you sleep? My office. I have a couch. Jaiwon, this is your home. And you're my guests. Make yourself comfortable. He left to make phone calls. Seo-yun stood in the nursery, holding Minute J, looking at the evidence of Jaiwon's planning. He'd thought about this. Prepared for it. Expected to fail at keeping them safe enough to prevent this moment. God, what a way to live. That night, Minute J woke crying at 2 a.m. Seo-yun went to him, but Jaiwon was already there. I've got him, he said quietly. You don't have to. I know. But I want to. She watched from the doorway as Jaiwon lifted their son, held him against his shoulder, began the gentle swaying motion he'd learned in parenting class. He was humming the folk song she'd taught him. Off-key, but sincere. Minute J quieted. He likes you, Seo-yun said. I like him too. That's not what I meant. Jaiwon looked over. Even in the dim nightlight, she could see his expression, raw, unguarded. I know what you meant. They stood there, the baby between them, and for a moment it felt like something that might have been. In another life. With different choices. I'll take him, she said finally. Okay. She lifted Minute J from Jaiwon's arms. Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away as quickly as before. Seo-yun. Yes? I won't let anything happen to him. To either of you. I know. Do you? Because I need you to know. I will burn this city to the ground before I let anyone hurt what's mine. We're not yours, Jaiwon. Aren't you? The question was quiet. Dangerous. No, she said firmly. We're not. We're just here. Temporarily. He nodded. Right. Temporarily. But neither of them believed it. Chapter 5. The Cost of Protection. Jaiwon didn't sleep that night. Instead, he made calls. Activated networks. Applied pressure to pressure points. By dawn, he had confirmation. The Lee family had ordered the intimidation. A power play. Testing whether fatherhood had made him soft. They were about to learn it had made him lethal. The meeting was called for that evening. Neutral Ground, a restaurant in Itaewon that the underworld used for high-level negotiations. Every syndicate head would be there. Tae-sung arrived at the penthouse to brief him. Found Seo-yun in the kitchen making coffee, while Minute J slept in a bouncer on the counter. Mrs. Kang, he said politely. Tae-sung. She poured him a cup without asking. Remembered how he took it. He's in his office. I know. I came to talk to you first. She looked up, surprised. Tonight's meeting will be dangerous, Tae-sung continued quietly. The Lee family overplayed. They threatened a direct heir. That's a declaration of war by any standard. What will Jaiwon do? What he has to. Restore order. Re-establish dominance. You mean violence. I mean consequences. Seo Yun set down her coffee cup. I don't want Minute J growing up in this world. Then you should leave. Permanently. Is that a threat? It's advice. From someone who's watched Jaiwon build this empire and knows what it costs. He'll protect you. He'll die for that child. But this life? It doesn't change. And eventually, it destroys everything it touches. Including Jaiwon. Especially Jaiwon. Footsteps. Jaiwon emerged from his office, saw them talking. Problem? No, Tai-sung said smoothly. Just updating Mrs. Kang on tonight's schedule. Jaiwon looked between them, not buying it, but didn't press. I'll be gone most of the evening, he told Seo Yun. Security will be here. Full team. 4 men, rotating shifts. Don't leave the penthouse. What if there's an emergency? Call me first. Then emergency services if needed. That's backwards. Not in my world. She wanted to argue, but he was already moving, Tai-sung following, 2 men consumed by the machinery of violence they'd built. The meeting room smelled like smoke and expensive whiskey. 12 men sat around a table. Syndicate heads. Power brokers. Killers in $1,000 suits. Jaiwon arrived last. Deliberate. A power move. He didn't sit. The Lee family, he said without preamble. Attempted intimidation of my family this morning. 2 men. Black sedan. Explicit threats against my son. Lee Dong-wook, patriarch of the Lee syndicate, didn't flinch. Business pressure. Negotiation tactics. Targeting a 3-month-old infant is negotiation. Targeting your weakness is strategy. The room went quiet. Jaiwon smiled. It wasn't pleasant. You think fatherhood makes me weak, he said. You think love is vulnerability. You're right. It is. He pulled out his phone. Set it on the table. Played a recording. Gunfire. Screaming. Silence. That was the Lee family's trafficking operation in Busan. Shut down 1 hour ago. 17 arrests. Your product seized. Your money frozen. Your protection money sources eliminated. Lee Dong-wook's face went pale. You threatened my child, Jaiwon continued conversationally. So I erased a decade of your work in 60 minutes. Want to test what I'll do next? You're declaring war, another syndicate head said. Over a woman and a baby. No, Jaiwon corrected. You declared war when you forgot that I don't make threats. I make examples. He looked around the table. Anyone else wants to test whether fatherhood made me soft? Step up now. I'll be happy to demonstrate. Silence. Jaiwon picked up his phone. Walked to the door. Stopped. One more thing. My son's name is Kang Minute J. He's my legitimate heir. Any organization that wants to maintain relations with the Kangpa will respect that. Anyone who doesn't. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Back at the penthouse, Seo Yun had put Minute J to bed and was reading in the guest room when she heard the door. Footsteps. Heavy. Tired. She found Jaiwon in the kitchen, pouring whiskey. Is it done? She asked. Yes. Did anyone die? Not yet. But they will. He took a long drink. Probably. She should have been horrified. Should have grabbed Minute J and run. Instead, she asked, Are we safe now? Safer. That's not the same thing. No, he agreed. It's not. He looked at her. Really looked. I'm sorry. For what? For dragging you back into this. For being the reason you're in danger. For, he gestured vaguely. All of it. You didn't drag me anywhere. I came to that courtroom by choice. To divorce me. Yes. And now you're living in my home. Under my protection. How's that working out? She almost smiled. It's complicated. That's one word for it. Minute J cried from the nursery. They both moved toward the sound. Stopped. Looked at each other. I'll go, Jaiwon said. We'll both go. In the nursery, they found Minute J hadn't really woken, just fussing in his sleep. Jaiwon adjusted the blanket. Seo Yun restarted the mobile. They stood on opposite sides of the crib, watching their son settle. He's beautiful, Jaiwon said quietly. He is. He has your strength. And your stubbornness. God help us all. She almost laughed. In the dim light, she studied Jaiwon's face. He looked older. Tired. Carrying weight no fortune could lighten. What? He asked, catching her staring. I'm trying to figure you out. Good luck. You're not who I thought you were. Neither are you. What did you think I was? He considered the question seriously. Fragile. Dependent. Someone who needed protecting from the world. And now? Now I think you're the strongest person I know. And I'm the one who needed protecting from myself. The admission hung between them. Jaiwon. Don't, he said quietly. Don't say anything. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm just saying. She nodded. They stood there in the darkness, watching their son sleep, and the thing between them shifted again. Not love. Not yet. But not hate anymore either. Something more dangerous than both. Chapter 6. When the past comes calling. 3 days into their forced proximity, Seo Yun's mother called. Are you insane? Were her first words. Good morning, mother. You're living with him again? After everything? Have you lost your mind? It's temporary. For safety. Safety? Here's the danger. Leave. Come stay with us. And bring the threat to your door? No. Seo Yun. Mother, I have to go. Minute J needs me. She hung up. 10 minutes later, her father called. More measured, but equally concerned. Do you trust him? He asked. With Minute J's safety? Yes. With your heart. She was quiet. I thought so, her father said gently. Be careful, daughter. Some men change. Others just get better at pretending. Which do you think Jaiwon is? I don't know. But I know you'll figure it out before he does. That afternoon, while Minute J napped, Seo Yun explored the penthouse. The master bedroom was still Jaiwon's, minimalist, cold, impersonal. His closet held 20 identical black suits. The bathroom counter held cologne and nothing else. No photographs anywhere. She checked the office. Found it locked. The second bedroom, the one that used to be hers, was now the nursery. Every trace of her had been erased and replaced with preparation for their son. She didn't know how to feel about that. In the living room, she found one photograph. New. In a frame on the bookshelf. Minute J. Sleeping. From the hospital during the UTI scare. Her throat tightened. I took it when you were asleep. Jaiwon's voice came from behind her. She turned. He stood in the doorway, still in his meeting clothes. You took a picture while our son was in the hospital. No. I took a picture because for the first time, I understood what mattered. Which is? That moment. Him breathing. You beside him. All of us together. She set down the frame carefully. Don't do this. Do what? Say things that make me hope. Would that be so bad? Yes, she said firmly. Because hope requires trust, and I don't trust you. Not like that. Then how do I earn it? You don't earn trust by asking how. You earn it by showing up. Every day. Consistently. Until one day I realize I don't question it anymore. How long will that take? I have no idea. Maybe forever. He nodded slowly. I can live with that. Can you? Really? Because I won't be rushed. I won't be seduced. I won't be manipulated by grand gestures or romantic proclamations. If you're waiting for me to fall back in love with you, you'll be waiting a very long time. Good. She blinked. Good. I don't want you to fall. I want you to choose. Deliberately. fully aware of what you're choosing. And what would I be choosing? A man who destroyed you, who's trying to rebuild himself, who might fail, who might not be capable of being what you deserve, but who will spend every day trying anyway. The honesty of it stole her breath. I need to check on Minute J, she said. She fled before he could see the tears. That night, Jaiwon's mother arrived unannounced. The penthouse security called up. Chairman Kang is here. Jaiwon closed his eyes. Send her up. Seo Yun emerged from the nursery. Who? My mother. Oh. You don't have to see her. She's Minute J's grandmother. She's also the woman who told you to sign the divorce papers and disappear quietly. I remember. The elevator opened. Chairman Kang Eun-ji entered like she owned the place. Because technically, she did, or had, until Jaiwon bought her out 3 years ago. She looked at Seo Yun. Then at Jaiwon. I heard you were living together again. Temporarily, Seo Yun said. For safety. Where's the child? Sleeping. I want to see him. No, Jaiwon said flatly. His mother turned to him. Excuse me. You heard me. You called Seo Yun a liability. Told her to disappear. Said the divorce was best for everyone. You don't get to suddenly want access to my son because he's convenient for your legacy now. He's my grandson. And you'll meet him when, and if, I decide you've earned it. Eun-ji's eyes narrowed. You've changed. Yes. I'm not sure it's for the better. I don't care. They stared at each other. Mother and son. Both too stubborn to bend. Finally, Eun-ji turned to Seo Yun. May I speak with you? Privately. Seo Yun glanced at Jaiwon. He nodded. Her choice. 5 minutes, Seo Yun said. They went to the balcony. The city sprawled below them. Millions of lights. Millions of lives. I owe you an apology, Eun-ji said. Seo Yun nearly dropped her water glass. I beg your pardon. I said I owe you an apology. When you married my son, I thought you were weak. Naive. Unsuited for this life. I was wrong. About which part? All of it. You survived him. Left him. Raised his child alone. Came back and destroyed his carefully constructed life with a single appearance. That takes remarkable strength. I didn't do it to destroy him. No. You did it to protect your son. Which makes you exactly the kind of mother this family needs. Seo Yun studied the older woman. What do you want? To be part of my grandson's life. And to help, if you'll let me. Help how? Security. Resources. The kind of protection only this family can provide. You're living here now because someone threatened you. That won't be the last time. But if you let me, I can make sure the threat level decreases significantly. In exchange for what? Eun-ji smiled. Nothing. I'm not negotiating. I'm offering. Why? Because you gave my son something I never could. Which is? A reason to be human. After Eun-ji left, having secured one supervised visit with Minute J next week, Seo Yun found Jaiwon on the balcony. Your mother is terrifying, she said. Yes. But I think I like her. Don't tell her that. She'll get ideas. Seo Yun leaned on the railing beside him. Did you know she was coming? No. But I'm not surprised. She's many things, but she's not stupid. She knows Minute J represents the future of this family. Is that all he is to her? A legacy? Jaiwon was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I'd like to think she's capable of more. But my mother, she's spent her whole life in this world. It changes you. Makes you see people as assets. Is that how you see us? He looked at her directly. No. You're the first thing in my life I've seen as just people. Just you. Just him. Just human. The wind picked up. Seo Yun shivered. Jaiwon shrugged off his jacket, draped it over her shoulders without thinking. The gesture was so automatic, so domestic, it made her chest ache. Thank you, she whispered. For the jacket. For tonight. For standing up to your mother. For protecting Minute J from her until she proved she deserved him. That's just fatherhood. No. That's growth. They stood in silence, the city breathing below them. Seo Yun. Yes? Do you think you'll ever forgive me? She thought about it seriously. I don't know. Some days I think maybe. Other days I remember how much you hurt me, and I think forgiveness is impossible. That's fair. But. He waited. But I'm starting to see that you're not the same man who hurt me. And I don't know what to do with that. You don't have to do anything. Just. Exist. Be here. Let me show you who I'm becoming. And if I don't like who you're becoming, then you leave. And I'll let you go. No lawyers, no fights, no manipulation. Just, goodbye. She believed him. That was the terrifying part. Chapter 7. The night everything changed. The attack happened exactly 1 week later. Seo Yun woke to silence. Complete silence. No city noise. No air conditioning. No ambient sound at all. She sat up. Checked her phone. 3:17 a.m. No signal. Wrong. Everything was wrong. She moved to Minute J's crib. He was sleeping peacefully. She lifted him, blanket and all, held him against her chest. The door to the hallway opened. Jaiwon stood there in dark clothes, a gun in his hand. Get to the panic room, he said quietly. Now. What's happening? They cut the power. Jammed communications. This is a coordinated assault. Gunfire erupted somewhere below. Close. Inside the building. Move. Jaiwon barked. Seo Yun ran. She knew where the panic room was. Jaiwon had shown her the first night, just in case. Hidden behind a bookshelf in his office. Biometric lock. She pressed her thumb to the scanner. Jaiwon had programmed her access that same night. The door opened. She ducked inside. Jaiwon followed, sealed the door behind them. The room was small. Steel walls. Emergency supplies. Communication equipment independent of the building systems. Jaiwon activated the system. Cameras showed the penthouse. 6 men. Armed. Moving through the space systematically. How did they get past your security? Seo Yun whispered. They are my security. Bought off. This was planned from the inside. Outside the panic room, furniture crashed. Someone shouted orders. Minute J started to cry. Seo Yun tried to soothe him, but the baby's wails echoed in the steel chamber. The men outside would hear it. Would know exactly where they were. Jaiwon made a call on the secure line. Tai Sung. Under attack. 6 hostiles. Inside team compromised. Send everyone. 5 minutes, came the reply. We might not have 5 minutes. Something heavy slammed into the office door. Jaiwon checked his weapon. 1 full magazine. 15 rounds. 6 men. Probably better armed. He looked at Seo Yun. At Minute J crying in her arms. Made a decision. There's an exit, he said. Behind that panel. It goes to the service elevator. Take it to the garage. My car is in spot 1. Keys are in the visor. Drive to the safe house in Pyeongchangdong. Address is programmed in the GPS. What about you? I'm buying you time. No, Seo Yun. You're not dying for us. Yes, he said calmly. I am. That's what fathers do. He opened the panel. The escape route gaped dark and narrow. Take him. Go. Jaiwon. He grabbed her shoulders. Looked her in the eye. I have spent every day since that courtroom trying to be worthy of being his father. This is what that means. Protecting him. Even if it costs me everything. Tears ran down her face. You can't. I love you, he said. I never stopped. I just forgot how. And I love him. More than my empire. More than my life. So you're going to take our son and you're going to run. And I'm going to make sure no one follows you. He kissed her forehead. pushed her toward the escape route. Go. She went, carrying Minute J through the narrow passage, tears blurring her vision. Behind her, she heard the panic room door breach. Heard gunfire. Ran faster. Jaiwan faced 6 armed men with 15 bullets and a smile. Gentlemen, he said pleasantly. I'm in a bad mood. Last chance to leave. They didn't leave. He killed 4 of them in the first 10 seconds. The other 2 took cover. Returned fire. Bullets sparked off steel. Jaiwan used the panic room's interior angles. Cover positions he'd planned for exactly this scenario. 1 more down. 11 rounds left. The last man was smarter. Waited. Patient. They're gone, the man called out. Your woman and the baby. Gone. You die for nothing. Not nothing, Jaiwan replied. For everything. He charged. Traded shots at close range. Pain bloomed in his shoulder. His side. But his bullet found its target. The last man dropped.